We understand that the U.S. investment fund has been very difficult to agree on the details, and you've told Secretary Bessent about the feasibility of having so much cash upfront. Should we be expecting installments in payments then?
지금 베센트 장관은 한국의 외환
Bessent has understood that due to the current state of Korea's foreign exchange market, we cannot pay up front. He understands that. However, regarding how to proceed on this, with negotiations currently underway with the U.S., I ask for your understanding that I cannot yet provide specific details on the plan.
Bank of Korea Governor Lee Chang-yong said that the maximum amount that can be raised in dollars annually without market disruptions is $20 billion. Are we looking at around those figures right now?
예, 저희들이 maximum.
Yes, the Bank of Korea currently estimates that the maximum amount we can raise without significantly impacting the foreign exchange market is $20 billion.
What does that mean for upfront payments, though? Does that mean front-loading some and then paying annually?
그런 부분
Regarding that aspect, we are keeping various possibilities open for the foreign exchange market and are currently in negotiations with the United States.
Because that's one of the options that you've talked to Secretary Bessent and to Washington about.
그것은 제가 지금 확인하기가 어렵고요. 다만
I cannot confirm that at this time. However, Secretary Bessent fully understands the difficulties in Korea's FX market and is having internal discussions on how to respond to the situation.
Because of the potential financial shocks to South Korea, there was a lot of talk about a potential currency swap agreement. Is that still on the table?
통화 수합은 미국과 한국 간의 이
Whether a currency swap is needed and to what extent will depend entirely on how the deal is structured. It may not be necessary at all, or it could be arranged on a smaller scale. Therefore, the currency swap itself is a necessary condition, not a sufficient one. So, depending on how this deal turns out, we plan to consult with the U.S. regarding the currency swap aspect as well.
통화 수합이 된다고 인해서
Even if we have a currency swap, it will be difficult to just blindly provide money to the U.S. without considering the commercial rationality or viability of the project being selected.
I'm understanding then that this option is still alive. If that's the case, when it comes to perhaps the structure, could it be something similar as to the Argentina style going through the Treasury instead of directly from the Fed?
지금 이 통화 수합에 대해서는 우리가
Regarding the currency swap, we're not doing it because we lack short-term foreign reserves like Argentina. It's a situation where Korea needs foreign currency to make long-term investments as requested by the U.S. So the U.S. must provide the lacking foreign currency. Therefore, it doesn't align with the conventional short-term currency swap structure. So, regarding that aspect, if we were to engage in a currency swap arrangement with the U.S., there are further points that require discussions.
The South Korean won at 1,400 per dollar. Is that the new normal? Do you think that reflects fundamentals?
지금 가장 영향을 많이 받는 부분이 이 관세.
We believe much of the recent depreciation reflects market concern that the tariff negotiations haven't been finalized. So, we are currently pursuing negotiations with the U.S. within a range that doesn't significantly impact Korea's foreign exchange market. Fortunately, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent is fully aware of the situation in Korea's foreign exchange market. Therefore, once the issue is resolved, that uncertainty will likely fade.
We have seen clearly the impact on South Korean automakers because the tariffs continue to be, of course, much higher than for Japan, for Europe, who already the U.S. has lifted those levies. What can the government do at this point to support the sector?
일단 단기적으로는 지금
In the short term, the government is providing all possible policy support to automakers and auto parts companies facing difficulties due to these higher tariffs compared to the EU and Japan. We believe that if these negotiations yield some breakthrough, those issues could also be resolved.
In these ongoing trade negotiations, is the fact that South Korea would lose its advantage over, say, Japan before the trade deal, because Korea had a free trade agreement with the U.S., it had an advantage of around 2.5%. Is that being discussed at this point?
예, 그런 부분을 제가 트럼프 대통령께도 말씀을 드렸고.
I conveyed that point to President Trump and explained to Bessent and Lutnick. I explained that since Korea is an FTA partner, tariffs on Korea are already sufficiently low, but tariffs on other countries aren't sufficiently low, making it unfair. Even so, it seems the U.S. isn't very willing to understand that aspect. In any case, we plan to continue explaining and persuading them.
Because of the exuberance around artificial intelligence, we are seeing South Korea's stock market on a tear. Are you concerned that this could be a market bubble?
예, 지금의 주식 시장은 한국 경제에 대한 기대.
The current stock market reflects expectations for the Korean economy, such as enhancing shareholder value in the Korean capital market, expanding dividends, or resolving unfair practices. Expectations for the modernization of the Korean stock market. On top of these expectations, we are actively supporting the core technology economy to ensure a robust Korean economy that can be a global investment destination.